Have you ever wondered whether ancient laws can still be relevant in today's modern world? It's easy to think that something written thousands of years ago couldn't possibly have any significance today. But some laws, like the Ten Commandments, have endured, not because they're just a part of religious history, but because they offer timeless principles that resonate with people even now, whether you're familiar with them or not. It's fascinating to explore what these ancient commands were all about, why they were given, and how their message still holds value. The Ten Commandments were given by God to the nation of Israel through Moses. The Bible describes how God himself inscribed them on 2 stone tablets and handed them to Moses on Mount Sinai. This wasn't just a random set of rules. It was part of a covenant or agreement between God and his people. These commandments dealt with how the Israelites were to worship God and how they were to treat one another. In a world filled with various belief systems and moral codes, the Ten Commandments stood out. They reflected high moral standards and helped the Israelites develop a unique identity, distinct from the nations around them. Over time, people have debated how to interpret certain aspects of the commandments. For example, the command about keeping a Sabbath day was specific to the Israelites, but the principle of taking regular time to rest and reflect is something we can all benefit from. Likewise, while the command to honor parents was directed at ancient Israel, respecting and caring for family members is still an essential part of a happy life. These timeless ideas show how the Bible's message can offer practical wisdom even in today's fast-pacing world. Now, you might be wondering, if these laws were given to the Israelites, are Christians today still required to follow them? Interestingly, the Bible explains that Christians are not bound by the Mosaic Law, including the Ten Commandments. That might come as a surprise, but it's because something greater replaced that law, the teachings of Jesus Christ. When asked about the greatest commandment, Jesus didn't simply recite the Ten Commandments. Instead, he summed up the entire law with 2 simple yet profound principles. Love God with your whole heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. These 2 commands encapsulate the spirit behind the Ten Commandments and continue to guide millions of Christians today. Think about how practical these principles are. When we show love for God, we naturally want to live in a way that pleases Him, and when we genuinely care about others, we're motivated to be honest, respectful, and compassionate. These aren't outdated ideas. They're timeless values that can improve our relationships and bring more peace into our lives. Even though Christians aren't required to follow the Mosaic Law, applying these principles helps us live happier, more meaningful lives. It's amazing to see how a set of laws given thousands of years ago can still inspire and guide people today. The Ten Commandments weren't just a list of rules, they were a foundation for a way of life centered on love and respect. And while Christians aren't under that law anymore, the values it promoted remain just as relevant. By following the principles Jesus emphasized, we can lead lives that reflect genuine love for God and for others. If you've ever been curious about what the Bible says on topics like these, there's so much more to discover with our many other videos. If you learned something, please drop a like on this video. If you want to learn more interesting facts, consider subscribing.